All right, here we are live on a Friday afternoon. The Titans are set to have a new general manager. That would be Chiefs assistant GM Mike Borgonzi is set to be hired as the Titans' new general manager. We have some extra information to pass along a little bit here, but Austin Stanley and Sam Phelan doing an impromptu live. We've been working on this ever since the news came out about 30 minutes ago or so. But Sam, we're going to have a fun little quick Friday afternoon live stream. So before we officially dive into here to what Lucas Burks is calling an emergency meeting, I will let you tell the people what to do here, just like we do on the morning show every weekday morning. But tell everybody what they got to do.
Well, listen up, folks. This is especially important right now, even more so than it probably is on the morning show, because a morning show is appointment television, right?
That's
you
right.
know when A to Z Sports is going live, 8-ish Central Time. Right now, it's a surprise. This emergency meeting, not everybody knows, so you have to share the show. If you are one of the people dialed in, locked in right now on A to Z Sports for the instant reaction to the Titans hiring Mike Borgonzi, send that link. Let's get people in here. Let's start the conversation. Let's react to a Titans new general manager here on a Friday afternoon. I know it's Friday afternoon, but your friends, they're not working anyways. They're sitting there looking for anything to do. So send them this link, like the show as well before we get into everything this afternoon.
Yep, let's do it officially. Welcome in A to Z Sports here live Friday afternoon. The Titans have hired Mike Borgonzi, the assistant general manager of the Kansas City Chiefs. Shout out to our friends at BetMGM. Use our bonus code ATOZ Sports to get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet misses. But the Chiefs are getting set to host the Texans for the divisional round on Saturday. But Mike Borgonzi is set to be hired by the Titans as new general manager. Caleb, Facebook question, good question. Can we confirm anything? Sam, I will let you kind of catch the people up on what's been happening in the last 30 minutes or so.
Let's give you what we can confirm here at A to Z Sports. We can confirm that Amy Adams Strunk has contacted Mike Borgonzi, has called Mike Borgonzi, and has offered him formally the job as the general manager of the Tennessee Titans. Borgonzi has not signed a contract yet, has not agreed to a contract yet, but the job offer has been made. So he has not turned down an offer, countered, nothing on the actual contract front. That is probably getting ironed out as we speak here. But the job has been offered. The assumption is that both Mike Borgonzi and the Titans are motivated to get this thing done. So all roads lead to Borgonzi right now. And Austin, I believe you said that the Titans are getting ready to make him an offer he can't refuse.
Yes, Mike Borgonzi is going to get an offer that he couldn't refuse.
I had to set you up to.
I wasn't going to do it.
I had to hear it before we went live. They have to hear it while we're live.
Yeah,
certainly, Austin, I got to throw my hand up. We can just get into the reaction here. I'm a bit surprised by this. I like Mike Borgonzi a lot. I think this could be a very, very good hire for the Titans. Obviously, the resume is way, way up there with all the time that he has spent with the Kansas City Chiefs. With Kansas City since 2009, he was the administrator of college scouting, was the manager of football operations. In 2011 and 2012 was a pro scout. He was the assistant director of pro scouting in 2013 and 14, director of player personnel, director of football operations, and then assistant general manager. So the one thing he doesn't have, I will say, is that area scout, regional collegiate scouting experience. But, the resume coming from the Kansas City Chiefs is certainly, an impressive one. This was not necessarily where I thought the Titans were going to go. Not a job that I thought Mike Borgonzi was going to be super interested in. He has had a ton of interest in this cycle from the Jets and the Raiders as well. And so, definitely a surprise to me, but I think the Titans fans around the board pretty pumped up at this hire.
Yeah, for sure. Because I think when Ran Carthon gets fired and then we start seeing the interview requests start to trickle out from the Titans on who they want to talk to, we saw Mike Borgonzi. I'm like, yeah, right. This guy's not going to take this job. He's way too overqualified for this assistant general manager GM job for the Titans. And here it is. And look, I predicted this morning when we went through our final predictions, when everybody, including me, felt like John Eric Sullivan was going to be the guy. Yeah. I was like, if it's not, I'm going to go with Borgonzi. that was a complete like gut reaction just based off of nothing. And, I was kind of half right because I did say, so I don't go with the same answer that everybody is going with. I'll say Borgonzi because I do think he is the best candidate, the most decorated candidate overall. And I want to read this, Sam. I got this. I got a blurb from our guy Charles Goldman, who's one of our managing NFL editors at A2Zsports.com, but has covered the Chiefs for a long time. This is what he sent me about Borgonzi, and we'll have this up on our website in an article here soon. But this is from Charles Goldman about Mike Borgonzi. He's one of the few remaining front office members who can say he survived 3 different regimes in Kansas City. Got his start under Scott Pioli, saw the rebuild under John Dorsey, and the multi-time championship success under Brett Veach. He's virtually held every notable front office role along the way, and he knows what works and doesn't from a cultural scouting and football perspective. Titans fans should pay very close attention to how he traverses free agency, the draft, and adding players after roster cuts. This is, again, Charles Goldman. I expect him to build through the trenches and potentially target someone like Chiefs right guard and former Tennessee Volunteer Trey Smith as a cornerstone free agent signing to help shore up the right side of the offensive line. As far as the quarterback position is concerned, he's seen stopgaps and superstars in Kansas City. Look for him to target a high-character player with emphasis on leadership and ball security. So that's Charles on Borgonzi. Thoughts on that little blurb there from Charles?
Well, I got a lot of thoughts in general. He's right. He's held director of player personnel, director of football operations, assistant general manager, pro scout, assistant director of pro scouting. I have some questions, though. Like, can we ask some of the questions that I would want answered by the Titans and or Mike Borgonzi here?
Okay.
Is he going to be scouting? Because all of those qualifications that Charles just laid out, everything that he just said, sounds like a perfect candidate for the New York Jets. Sounds like a guy who can really handle what the Jets are going through. I think this confuses me a little bit more. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Do you follow what I'm saying with that? The idea that we're talking about, well, watch Mike Borgonzi and how he handles free agency and adding players this way. But our understanding that we were told is that Chad Brinker is going to be the guy who's doing that stuff, who's adding players in free agency, that this new GM was supposed to come in and be a
super scout, right?
Super scout, right? And so Mike Borgonzi doesn't have super scout experience. It's still he's got pro scouting experience, which is usually something that you want in a general manager. But in this specific job, I think it makes me more confused. I feel like I'm going to start asking questions again about who's calling the shots.
Yeah, and so that's a great point, because this morning we were saying all this stuff about the potential buddy hire of John Eric Sullivan. And I said, John Eric Sullivan was the 6 out of 6 to do their in-person interview with the Titans. And I asked you, if the Titans don't go John Eric Sullivan, does that make you feel better about their process of finding somebody that's not the buddy hire? And you said, yeah, initially. And then you're like, well,
it does make me feel better about the process, about the interview process that they did. It is refreshing to know that, hey, they had a great relationship with John Eric Sullivan. Chad Brinker is boys with John Eric Sullivan, a qualified candidate, mind you, would have been a good choice. And they go away from that, which makes me feel right, that's not the Titans of the past that we've become accustomed to, especially the Mike Vrabel era Titans, that was all about relationships and relationship building. So this is kind of off. It's unusual for them in that regard, which I think is a good thing. It's a good thing to cast a wide net and hire who you feel like is the best candidate. I would just like some questions answered from Brinker or from the last updates from Burke Niall were all about how it's going to be Chad Brinker's responsibility to make all these things, or even from Borgonzi. Maybe we come in and Borgonzi says he's excited for the title of GM. He's excited to hit the ground and do all the nitty gritty area scouting and stuff that the Titans are asking of him. And he's happy to answer to Chad Brinker. If that's what he says, thumbs up, great hire, good job, guys. But like this doesn't feel like this. It's as clean cut of like a defined roles that we were looking for.
So Ben asked, are you upset they made a shockingly competent hire? Like it sounds like, I mean, I think we are surprised that it is Mike Borgonzi.
Yeah. I don't think I'm just,
you're not,
I just have questions.
I'm going to clarify. Like you're not upset. I think we all thought Borgonzi was overqualified and he was too good of a fit for this role based on what the Titans told us about what this role is going to be. And so now that it is this guy, is this going to work? And whose decision was this?
Yeah, that is absolutely whose decision was this is also a great question. As like, was this Chad Brinker's hire? Is this who Amy wanted? Is this who Burke Nihill wanted? Is this who Brian Callahan wanted? I doubt it was who Brian Callahan wanted. But like, who within the organization is the one that pushed heavily for this influence to hire Mike Borgonzi?
There's only 3 candidates for the answer of your question. It's either Chad Brinker, Amy Adams Strunk, or Burke Nihill.
Yeah.
And so if we don't think it's Chad Brinker, because I mean, it could be Chad Brinker. If Chad Brinker went through all 6 interviews and said, my guy is John Eric Sullivan,
it could be. But like, I do think you have to ask the question. His guy is John Eric Sullivan. They kind of laid out clearly what they were looking for in the GM position, which this does not seem to fit. Not that that's bad, but it just does not seem to fit what they previously had laid out. Maybe it's not Chad Brinker that did the hire. And then are we going back around this? Are we going around the world again? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I'm scared, Austin. I'm scared. I'm happy for Titans fans. I think Titans fans, you are totally in the right to be pumped up about this. I think, grabbing a guy who has been with the best organization in the NFL for so long, that's a good thing. That's a really good, strong thing. And
it's been the best.
I am wondering.
Okay, so I'm going to go back. I think this, to me, the fingerprints on this makes me think that if there is one of the 3 that pushed for Mike Borgonzi harder than the others, I think it's probably would likely be Burke Nihill, because I don't think Amy, like, I know everybody has criticism of Amy, and those are fine. She can be inconsistent and be wishy-washy and reactive all the time. But one thing I do know about Amy Adams Strunk is she does allow her football people to make football decisions.
Yep.
And this is a football decision. And she allows and empowers the people that she hires and employs to make their hires. Burke Nihill is one of the people that she employs and would empower him to make this hire. So is this a Burke Nihill hire instead of a Chad Brinker hire? Again, these are all really good questions. But again, like, I think to reset here, was he the best candidate and the Titans get the best candidate?
Probably. I mean, again, depends, right? If this was a team that was looking for a fresh start, like the Jets, I think Mike Borgonzi was the best candidate for the New York Jets for who they should have hired. I think he would have been the best fit for the Las Vegas Raiders and who they should have hired. I guess if you're just viewing all GM jobs as equal to one another, then yes, he was absolutely the best candidate and the best hire. But I do think, like, it all comes down to the details of, one, who made the decision to hire him. And then this question from Devin, this is really where I'm coming back to. Borgonzi puts the moves together and sends them to Brinker for approval. If that's the case, okay, I'm cool with it. But we need to make that clear, right? Like, we need to clarify that. I want the Titans to clarify that, if that's going to happen. If we're going to let Mike Borgonzi cook, if we're going to let him do his job, if we're going to let him be the guy who's running all this stuff, and Chad Brinker's just kind of the overseer to make sure things function properly, I'm good with it. I'm great with it. But we need to know then that Chad Brinker has more of a hands-off role, that Chad Brinker is not really the guy calling the shots.
Well, and Chad Brinker's role includes, like, travel logistics, making sure that they have all of their equipment and supplements and things are working the right way, like the non-actual X's and O's football stuff, right? That falls under football operations, of making sure that part of the football business is running smoothly. And Borgonzi is working on the team the players, the coaches, the evaluation, and the overall development, right?
And so I will say, like, that is my hope, and my hope is that the Titans make that clear. And if the Titans were to make that clear, I will give this a very, very big thumbs up for what the Titans could have done. What I hope they don't do, and why I'm saying, like, I'm a little scared, a little afraid of what's to come, is that we end up in this murky, ambiguous place again because what the Titans had said was that it would be Chad Brinker with deciding things with the roster and personnel decisions. Does that mean he's the one making the moves, or does that mean he's just saying approve, disapprove, approve, disapprove? But then if you're Chad Brinker, you also, like, honestly, you better not veto anything, because that is when like things get hairy. Is Mike Borgonzi's building a team, he's starting to build a vision, and then he's like, all right, I'm going to go do this move, and Chad says, no, I don't want you to do that one, and all of a sudden we've got butting of heads again.
Yeah.
So lots of questions. I'm intrigued. I'm very interested. I will say, like I said earlier on the morning show, credit to the Titans for, I think, undoubtedly having a very thorough and unbiased process throughout this. But who hired him? Can we please make the roles very clear? Do not bring up, swear to God, if I hear the word collaboration, I'm going to blow a gasket in these press conferences. Yes. And let's ask another question, Austin. I'll throw to you from Duke.
Can we reset for a second? Because we got people coming in here. And so, like, go back to, I think, Caleb's question, can we confirm anything? So just to reset off the top for people that just jumped in here, there is nothing official yet, right? But what we do know from A to Z Sports is that the Titans offered the job to Mike Borgonzi, that Borgonzi is basically like, I really want this to get done. There has yet to be a negotiation of contract or a signing of contract or a counter offer from Borgonzi's side yet. And that was, as we went live 17 minutes ago here on A to Z Sports. And we know that. So we are reporting that at A to Z Sports per sources between the group of us, including Easton and Buck and all the different people that have their fingerprints all over Titans content for A to Z. So that is what we know right now. We are waiting on the official word, but Mike Borgonzi is set to be hired by the Titans as the new GM. Now, Sam, what was the next topic? By the way, like the show, hit that like button. There's a lot of people in here, random Friday afternoon live stream because the Titans hired GM. So make sure you hit that like button. But Sam, where do you want to go next?
Well, yeah, I did just accidentally unlike one of the comments I wanted to say. It was somebody speculating that this could have been an Amy Adams Strunk hire where she put her foot down, that it, we talked about the possibility it could have been a Burke Nihill hire, and they went away from Chad's wishes. If that is the case, once again, I will say, I think that's a problem. I think it's going to cause problems. What caused problems with the Titans when it was Vrabel and Rand Carthon? The fact that Mike didn't want Rand Carthon to be the general manager. He didn't want Rand to have control. He said, what if we put Ryan Cowden up there? We make Rand an assistant GM. We bring him in the front office. I agree. I like him a lot, but I don't know if he's ready to be a GM right now. That was Mike Vrabel's line of thinking. Amy said, too bad. I want to do it. I'm going to do it. Now you've got a guy with power who's being listened, who's the owner is listening to, who doesn't always align with your head coach on a day-to-day basis on like what they should do with the team. And it became ugly. And the same thing kind of happened with Chad Brinker and Rand Carthon when they elevated Chad Brinker to president of football operations. Not really clear who's making the last call. People that don't always see eye to eye on the decisions that are being made by the organization, not sure who to hold accountable for it. And so, my hope was that Chad Brinker would get to just pick his guy, because if Chad Brinker's picking his guy, I know that I can hold Chad accountable for any other failures that happen below him. But if Amy Adams Strunk or Burke Nihill or whoever else is going above the president of football operations, who is allegedly in charge of the entire football side of things for the Tennessee Titans, and making this hire on their own against his wishes, you're going to have the exact same issues that you've had. So that's all I'll say about that. Let's pivot real quick because Duke wants to know, do we think Brian Callahan is safe now that there's a new GM in place, Austin?
I mean, as of right now, I would think yes. But, like, what does that mean 10 months from now?
I agree. I mean, I think if the question is
Brian
Callahan the head coach in 2025? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Dallas Cowboys just got dogged for firing Mike McCarthy on Monday.
No, they didn't let him fire. They didn't fire him. They just let him walk. Yeah,
let
him
Mike
walk
McCarthy
up to Chicago.
Mike McCarthy out as Cowboys head coach. They got dogged for it. Why? Because they're late to the party interviewing all of these candidates that are actively in the playoffs right now. I don't think January 18th or 19th or 20th would be a good time for the Tennessee Titans to suddenly need to start a search for a head coach. So,
but no. yeah, he's the coach for next year. Is he the coach for 2026? I don't know. Should he be? I mean, we have to see what happens.
2025.
No, I got to see what happens from now until May. Let's get through free agency, get to the draft, find out what the expectation should be and what the long-term, 3-year plan is. What's your 5-year plan? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? That's what we have to ask the Titans, in this offseason is what are they setting up? Are they setting up to just do a stopgap quarterback that Borgonzi's done? Are they setting up to draft a quarterback number 1 overall, which nobody's really done because that's rare in-house? And then except for Brian Callahan, he's the only guy who's been a part of drafting a quarterback number 1, Joe Burrow. And so, you got to find out what that is to see if he is safe or unsafe moving forward. But I find it, and I said this back before they hired a GM, that whoever they hire at GM has to be comfortable with Brian Callahan being the head coach moving forward, or else they shouldn't get the job.
Yeah. I don't know. Those are I guess I've been hogging a lot of time here. What do you feel about this? I've got more questions than answers, but I'm slightly optimistic, but whatever. Where are you at?
I mean, I'm surprised. I do have questions, but the positive side of this is that there are 2 new faces running the Titans football operations. They're below me on the graphic. And somebody asked which one's Mike Borgonzi, which one's Brinker. Brinker is on the right. Borgonzi is on the left.
Wait, you point to him. You're above him.
Brinker.
Borgonzi. Yes. Red tie, Borgonzi. No tie.
Yeah, the red tie is the guy coming from the Chiefs. Makes sense. So the good thing is that those 2 guys are previously has spent a decade plus with 2 of the most successful franchises in the NFL, the Chiefs and the Packers, that are not exactly just flat out rich buying players and doing cash over cap like Stan Kroenke and the Rams or whatever else. That their processes are draft, replace, repeat, and supplement through smaller free agency signings. Who is the last big free agent acquisition the Kansas City Chiefs has made?
Your brother.
Who?
Sorry, I was making the Dan Orlovsky reference.
Oh, who is it?
Do you know? I have no idea. Oh, who was the last?
The last big oh damn, the Chiefs signed.
I mean, probably Orlando Brown.
Orlando Brown, a tackle.
Yeah, I mean, what's big?
But they don't really do it. The Chiefs don't have off seasons like the Titans just had a free agency, right?
I mean, Diop was a trade, right?
Yeah, I'm not counting Jawan Taylor.
We're talking somebody that signs
March free agency, in the tampering period, they signed somebody,
and they signed they signed a Tyrann Mathieu and stuff, but those he's a safety. He's not getting a huge big money deal. I don't feel like.
Right. Yeah.
Well, here I can look it up.
And Jake Hughes is saying Chris Jones re-signing was big. I'm not talking about re-signings. I'm talking about freaking free agent acquisitions, guys. So but the point is the Packers and the Chiefs don't do that because they draft from and build from within. The Chiefs have also drafted and allowed good cornerbacks to walk.
They acquired Frank Clark from Seattle, signed him to a 5-year, $104 million deal. That's the 3rd biggest in team history. Chris Jones extension is number 2. They signed Justin Houston to an extension after drafting him.
Yep.
So yeah, it's Jawan Taylor / Joe Thuney.
Yeah, they drafted Orlando Brown, didn't they? The Bengals.
Yeah, I had that backwards. Jawan Taylor, 4 years, $80 million.
That's it, right? The Titans gave that to Bud Dupree a few years ago. I think that is the recipe is, even though it's Borgonzi and it's not John Eric Sullivan and it's not what we expected in John Eric Sullivan, the Packers and the Chiefs have very similar processes of how they build their roster.
Yeah.
Now the outlier is Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, but I mean, like Borgonzi, the Chiefs had a lot of success with Alex Smith.
Yeah.
Like they're as that thing that you got from Charles kind of laid out, like this is a guy who's survived 3 different regimes and 3 different quarterbacks. You know, it's not like his entire career is on the back of Patrick Mahomes' success. This is, you know, somebody who's been with the Chiefs for a very long time. And it was an organization that was pretty consistently making the playoffs or competing for the playoffs with Alex Smith and Dwayne Bowe and Jamal Charles and, you know, I'm trying to remember other guys.
Guys like that.
But like they were good, but kind of a quarterback away. Alex Smith was more of a game manager. And then, you know, Patrick Mahomes comes in and was the quarterback away that they needed and then some.
Yeah. So look, I think it's a really good hire. I think that's the positive, is that both Brinker and Borgonzi have been in draft really well and develop franchises for the majority of their NFL careers. And now they're both in Nashville trying to do that again. They got to find the quarterback. We know that. The negative to this is the fit that you're asking. It's the question of who made the hire. Because if it wasn't Brinker and it was Amy Adams Strunk or Burke Nihill that made the hire of Borgonzi over Chad Brinker's head, then my other thought on that topic is the Titans have been embarrassed for about 10 days, right? Or not quite 2 weeks since they fired Rand Carthon, and everybody was laughing at how dysfunctional they were after being the worst team in football for an entire season. So what do? Oh, let's go hire the guy from the Chiefs, right? Who's about to win, you know, Super Bowl number 3 in a row.
The widely considered top candidate.
Yes, but like go make him an offer he can't refuse and bring him in here, and that immediately makes your reputation better. No longer, like, you can't laugh at the organization that hires the best GM candidate from the best franchise that's trying to three-peat at Super Bowls. Like, that's an instant gratification type of PR move.
Yeah, I mean, I've got my questions about this, like I was saying, and I can't sit here and deliberately say bad move. Even if Amy did hire him above Chad, or it was whatever, and they went against Chad's wishes, and this is going to cause some dissension, I can say that that's going to be a problem in the future, but I can't in a vacuum say this is a bad hire because this was the top guy. It's confusing because I don't think it matches their job description for what they wanted, but yeah, you can't really poke many holes in Mike Borgonzi's resume. He is overqualified
for the specific role the Titans disclosed after they fired Carthon.
Yeah, so Reynaldo wants to ask and no inside knowledge on this. What we've been able to report has been the fact that the Titans have formally offered Mike Borgonzi the job. Amy Adams Strunk has called Mike Borgonzi. We do not have any inside knowledge yet on, you know, exactly how this hire was made, nor do I think that will ever come out potentially, because that's how this industry works. Politics, succession. Remember that.
That's how this organization works. On top of all
so
that.
we are looking into it. We are, you know, breaking it down. I guess, do we think there's any chance this doesn't get done?
That's where I was going to go next because, you know, we have like, I think we had like at one point a 5-way phone call going on. It was like us two, Easton, Buck, and Jake Evans, who runs our social media for A to Z. And we were all on there and we're like, how is this not confirmed yet? And I was like, who? And, you know, we always ask the question whenever information comes out, who's interested in getting that information out there for that narrative? And then I saw a tweet, I think it was from Albert Breer, that said that the Titans made the offer and that they just finished letting the other candidates know. I was like, oh, the other candidates, that's who let this thing out there. They know that they're going to hire with Mike Borgonzi. So maybe not as sloppy from the Titans of letting this out there to all of the newsbreakers in the NFL without it having been done. I don't think it's
great for Mike Borgonzi, by the way. Great for Mike Borgonzi to have this out before he's negotiated his contract, because the Titans are now stuck. So
yeah, they leverage gone. Like now, Mike Borgonzi has to give. Yeah, he's got everything right now, and the Goodfellas references are just never going to end because his name is so awesome to say. Borgonzi, it's great. I hope he has an accent, but no, I think no, I haven't heard him speak.
Mike Borgonzi is from Everett, Massachusetts, so maybe a little Boston accent.
I'm down. Sign me up.
He coached at Boston College for a little bit.
Oh, perfect. Sign me up. Sign me up with all
that. He's got a Boston accent. I'm in on the hire. Full stop.
Brinker and Borgonzi. All right. So anything else to add? We've been live for about 30 minutes. It's still not yet officially official.
They better get it done. They probably will get it done. 99.9% chance they get it done, because how could you possibly not? Given the storm of PR that would be coming their way if they somehow botch this, and the fact that you've already told your other candidates, hey, LeBron, we're all good. Ben Simmons is here. I keep making pop culture references to videos that I don't think you understand at all.
No, it's all right. I just had to deliver it at my house too. So that's why I blanked out for a second.
It's okay. Better get it done. Waiting for more information. Very, very, very excited and intrigued to hop into that press conference and get some of my questions answered by whoever will speak. Prediction time. Will there be a press conference?
Monday or Tuesday?
Monday or Tuesday press conference. Okay.
Yeah.
Who will speak at the press conference? Amy, a statement from Amy.
Yes. A statement from Amy. Brinker will talk.
And Borgonzi will answer questions.
I bet. Callahan will be there. I bet
are they going to make Callahan do all the question answering?
That would be funny. I bet all three of the B's speak. You got Brian, Brinker, and Borgonzi.
Triple B's? Oh, LeVar Ball is somewhere smiling.
Or the BBC, if you want to go last name. Brinker, Borgonzi, and Callie.
Brian, Borgonzi, and Brinker. That's what you're going for.
Either way.
Triple B's?
Nobody calls him
and
Brian.
Burke?
Ooh. Nobody calls him Brian though, so that's a problem.
Yeah.
I was gonna make another point. I do think Brinker, Borgonzi, and Callahan will speak. Amy will give a statement. That's all.
Yeah.
One thing I did want to bring up. Ryan has a question. So what about Snead? Any bad blood between the two from the trade? No, I don't like bad blood between Snead and Borgonzi. No.
I mean, if he was mad at somebody, he would be mad at Veach. I feel like,
yeah. Well, here was the thing that I thot of with Ryan's with Ryan's comments.
Stop looking at the comments.
Yeah, I'm just gonna hide those. No, Borgonzi and Brinker are the ones that work together on the L'Jarius Sneed trade. So there's your relationship connection. It's not like these guys don't know each other and didn't know each other beforehand. It is so I think it's that.
I agree. I feel like we should end the live before you brand something else. Give it a nickname that will last the entire.
Hey, marketing is a skill.
We're going to be 4 years from now, and people are going to be commenting stuff about this regime because of you.
I was thinking about the broadcasting company, guys. Get your head out of the gutters. I'm thinking about the broadcasting company. You guys know what I'm talking about. Good Lord. Sickos. Have a great Friday. We'll have more content coming out.
We should get the Run DMC shirts back.
Oh, we had such a good idea.
Yeah, I know. But hey, here's your chance. Run BBC.
Who's running?
I don't know. They are the league.
I know. We had a really good t-shirt idea with Rand and Derrick Henry, but All right, that's it for us. Make sure you hit that like button. Like the show, like the show, like the show. Like the show on Facebook and YouTube.
Giggling. End the live.
All right, bye. Have a good weekend. A to Z sports.com/Titans. Catch you later.